Hello, Internet. Well, I've been getting a lot of people who have been asking me, so just how about did I go lifting my 240? So we're going to show you. But first, we're going to run it through the scratch and dent machine because, quite frankly, it's saltier than a Hillary voter at the moment. So I want to show you guys at least without it being encrusted with crap.
How much would you like?
15?
15? Yep. No problem.
So it's actually a lot simpler than you probably think. You only need to go up about 2 inches in total if you want to fit like a 235/75 R15. I'll show you the back first because that's actually the simplest part of it. One thing you are going to have to do is right here on the corner of the rocker panel, you're going to need to roll the pinch weld in, and that'll just keep you from rubbing. But otherwise, there's plenty of room up inside the wheel well to tuck it. Even in the back, you might still occasionally get a little bit of rubbing on your plastic bits here, but it'll actually wear it down, and then I don't even hear it anymore. It never even happens. For the rear suspension, it's pretty cake. All you do is you put the thing up on jacks, or better yet, if you have a lift, put it up in a lift, you just undo the bolt here at the bottom of the spring, and that holds the spring to the axle, and then you just lower the axle. While you're at it, I would recommend putting new shocks in, and you put the shocks in, and I put KOIB GR2s in, and they worked perfectly. The springs, all you do is go onto IPD's website, or if you're lucky and you can find some in a junkyard, is you get the station wagon springs that are for the overload. I think it's like a 14 millimeter or 15 millimeter spring versus a 12. But yeah, just get the overload springs. I think it's like 160 bucks or so, not that much, and the rear's done. That'll bring you up about 2 inches. It'll level the car out because you're gonna need to go bring up at about 2 inches in the front, and it's not so much for fitting the tire, but for the clearance between the strut and the tire. And if you get over here, the cheap way to do it is I found some junkyard springs, or struts assemblies rather, the entire things that were all brand new. The person had just replaced them. Ooh, looks like I need to do a ball joint. The boot's ripped. It's about time. And I cut the spring pocket loose, because you can see the original weld right here, and I just moved the whole thing up 2 inches. And what that did is it put about 2 inches, and that gave me the clearance that I needed for the top of the tire, because that's really what was going to end up rubbing. If I hadn't moved it, you know, that this spring pocket here would be right against the top of the tire. You'd never even be able to bolt it up. But that's all you got to do there, and that brings it up. And I was kind of worried that this would totally mess with the suspension of the car as far as the thing wouldn't ride right or what. but it actually improves the handling quite a bit because it puts a little bit of preload on the front spring, and that ends up giving you a little firmer ride. Granted, yeah, you lose a little bit of suspension travel, but you don't really need it that much because it holds a lot level, handles a lot better. The bigger circumference tires tend to handle rolling over bumps rather than slamming face first into them with like a smaller 14-inch tire. The wheels are off of a 760. I had them powder coated white like 5 years ago, and I bought brand new hubcaps for them, stainless steel hubcaps. They look nice, and but they've held up pretty well. I mean, they've got a little bit of road stain from brake dust. I mean, that wheel cleans up nicely. I did put some IPD armor shields underneath. Nice big thick aluminum pans, keeps everything nice and clean. But you can do this for a couple $100 if you're lucky with some junkyard parts. You can buy complete coilovers for about $1,000 for the front if you want to go big dollar. Also, I recommend that you keep an eye on your brakes, because I ran my pads down to my rotors once. Oh, look, it's finally starting to flake off. Oh, good. Yeah, I might get those wheels. Yep, yeah, good. It's starting to break up. It was just burnt on, you know, steel. Pulverized steel that freaking baked itself onto the wheels, and it finally looks like after about a year it's starting to break up now. Good, I'm gonna go home and scrub that stuff. I might be able to make it clean again. Oh yeah, side pipes. Gotta have the side pipes. Come on. But yeah, that's how you lift your 240. Pretty simple. Pretty damn cheap. And it makes for a great fun winter car, because you get all kinds of tire options once you get to that size. These are they're not quite 235s. A lot of people use, these are a 215 75R15, and I went with a little bit smaller only because of the BF Goodwrench's the mud terrains. These massive, when these lugs are, I mean, these are like halfway worn. Those tires are down to their halfway points. I mean, when these tires are new, they come out there. I mean, it was like right up against the rocker panel. Even when I hammered down the that pinch weld, it was still like right up against them. But they've worn down a bit now. These tires, I've had it on there for about 4 years. But yeah, and they take a lot to balance. But other than that, yeah, it's a cheap mod, and you'll be surprised at how comfortable it actually makes the car ride. I mean, I imagine if I hadn't used, you know, truck tires with such huge sidewalls and such stiff sidewalls with, you know, I think they're like 6 ply on the tread and 4 ply on the walls. I mean, you could practically run these tires flat and they would hold the car up. And it still rides pretty smooth. But yeah, that's how you lift your 240. It's pretty simple, pretty cheap, and actually it has a lot of practicality to the car. Peace out.